Springboks. I think they've got that sort of live and die attitude. They love rugby as much as we do, and I think they're going to put it all on the line. So yeah, keep an eye on them. I think they'll probably make the quarterfinals. But as we know, rugby is one of those games like league that it's on the day, and teams who don't do too well usually, if they fire up during the game, have an opportunity to take it out. But no, the Avies have got to be the student favourite.
What do you reckon, Reno? Are there any, I don't know, outsiders that you can see in contention for the World
Cup? Yeah, well, World Cup. Yeah, World Cup is a whole different thing. It's a different thing. The fans over in Japan will bring something different. The expectations on your national team to represent your country proud, go hard, and hopefully bring back the William Webb Ellis Trophy. That's a huge ask for our country. We're right behind the boys in black, and we just love supporting a winning team. And when things fall apart, mate, they fall apart. We know all about that. Look at the Irish games last year. Like I say, it's a whole different thing. Any team can beat any team on any day. Look at what Japan did to South Africa a few years ago. So you take a look at the Rugby League World Cup of recent. Fiji knocked over the Kiwis. So anything is possible on any day. You don't bring your A game, you're gone. And that's it. You got to do that every single game you play to get to the finals. So, anything's possible, mate. Don't rule out any of those other teams. You've made mention during the corridor with Ra. On any day, anything can happen. And if you don't bring it, you lose it. Wheels fall off, mate, and the panic buttons happen. So, the last year, forget about that. Ireland beat us. Who cares? It's a different year. It's a different World Cup. And we just got to see how things will work out for the boys. Prior to the previous ones, 2011 and 2015. Look at 2011, we hosted it. We thought we were going to be home and ho in that and clean up everything. Because we did prior to that.
Yeah.
And we only won by 1 point. And thanks to the ref, when he blew the ref whistle when Andy Ellis kicked it out the side.
Yeah.
That could have gone anywhere. That penalty could have gone somewhere else, and the French may have won if they got the kick. So, like I say, on any day, anyone can win.
True.
And if you don't turn up to play, who knows? You go home with your tail between your legs. Look at England. They were useless last World Cup. Didn't even make the quarters.
Yeah, they did.
All that money invested.
Yeah.
So, like I say, anything is possible. Big year, and bring it on and see what happens. And I know we're all hoping the boys in black can go to three-peat. It'll be fitting for Steve Hansen to end on a stellar career as a coach, being assistant before in 2011, and then 2015 being a winner. It'll be just the icing on the cake for him. So we'll see what happens, mate. It's a long way yet. A lot of months to get through.
True.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even South Africa got tipped up by Japan in the last World Cup. So I guess you're right. Anything can happen. Real quick, what else is happening out there, Reno?
Yeah, last night, the big boxing, we touched on league earlier on, Paul Gall, and a lot of people love him or hate him.
Yep.
JT's a big fan of him. The grub, they would call him, went up against another big man, John Hopewadi. They got quite ugly as the build-up to the fight as boxing does. Hopper's got the old stranglehold on Gals, and they're good, mate. At the end of it all, saw that whole big thing, the big build-up, and Gals got him in the second round and knocked the big man to the floor, and actually showed a bit of concern for him. Ran down there to make sure his mate was all good, and hey, look, they're buddies. When you're in the boxing ring, it's what it is. It was the main fight last night. Justin Hodges, he got in there as well. And, retired from playing a big-time league and dealt to his opponent as well. But overall, good to see a few of the leagueies. Latrell Mitchell, who turned down from going to play at the World Challenge, playing for the Indigenous. He was there watching. And, it was just a great night of boxing. And Paul Gallen, you look at these three guys he's called out. One of those is Sonny Bill Williams. Everyone wants that big fight league versus rugby union. I reckon Gal will smash up Sonny Bill.
Me too.
But there's also Manu Vatuvei. There's another name that's called out as well. So, we'll see what happens. It was a big night of boxing. It was good to watch, actually. Some good fights there. Not like the other rubbish thing I watched, Sonny Bill and the other idiot. And there's that rubbish.
That was rubbish, mate.
Whatever that was.
That was rubbish.
This was real deal.
Yeah.
And that bloody Paul Gallen, he's not too bad,
Yeah.
People give him flack. He's not too bad in the ring until he meets up with JT, and then JT will knock him on his ass.
Did you catch that fight there, JT?
Nah, mate. Two New South Wales grubs going toe-to-toe with the rest of them. But yeah, no, I agree, mate. He's a tough hombre, old Gallen. I remember there was some rugby player from New Zealand a few years back talking himself up. He was going to give Gallen the old what's up, and I think Gallen actually toasted him up quite badly. I don't remember the guy's name, but it was some league versus union thing a few years back. And Hicka Elliott, was that the guy?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the one.
Poor Gallen gave him a good hiding. Poor Gallen. I love him or hate him. He's a tough bloke and sort of guy I'd love to sit down next and have a bit of a chat with. He's got some good experiences and some good knowledge of the game. And even though we probably wouldn't see eye to eye on a lot of things, it's still respect the man for what he's done. So yeah. Yeah,
absolutely. Just real quick, of course, the Indian Women's Series and the ODIs was pretty much wrapped up by India, I think. When
he played last night too.
Yes, in the T20s, I was getting to that. Of course, the T20s, the New Zealand women pretty much finished that series off. Of course, they've got another game tomorrow against India, as well as that the men. The men go into a bit of go into a decider as well tomorrow. 8:00 they kick off. The women kick off at 4. Should be a good game actually in Hamilton for both games. It's been great watching the women play first and then the men as usual. It's been a really interesting. Anything else been happening there, Reno?
Yeah, I suppose, for the big UFC fans out there, Israel Adesanya, the big talking up on this, bring this on. It's like an honour for this young boy representing New Zealand, taking on one of the legends, one of the greats of UFC, Anderson Silva. So that's the big fight coming up for this young boy, and we'll see a couple of Kiwis going pretty good, actually, by the way, in that. And also the big farewell for Brendan McCullum Baz, bowed out of the Big Bash. That is it for him in the Big Bash side of things. So, yeah, but a UFC, a bit more on that cricket side of it. And, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens to Breakers. I'll forget about them. Build on to 2020 season now. That's done, dusted.
Right. Well, anything else really quickly? Probably...
No, I think that's about it.
Well, that leads us on then, I guess, to definitely my favourite part of the show. The part of the show where we get to release our angst, I suppose, that have built up over the week. It's time then for us to... Put the boot in! I've had quite a happy sort of a week, I suppose, so it's been a bit difficult to kind of... find anything to put the boot in about today. Hence, I will take Mr. Ra Walker's back up, and I'm going to put the boot into the weather, especially around Gisborne. It's just been a bit of a crazy sort of, I don't know, the weather's just been a little bit difficult, shall we say. So, there we go. My put the boot in goes to the weather. Put the boot in!
Yeah, my put the boot in's going to go into... Brian Tamaki at Waitangi made a comment. They do some good things, and even Don Brash was there, and then they're both entitled to what they believe and what they say. It was just a comment that Brian Tamaki made that he was higher than like the ordinary person or something. It just sounded so condescending and just a bit of an ego kind of a trip down Newbury Lane. So. No, if you are and you do good things, then your action should be enough instead of doing the talking to sort of follow it through. So that's my put the boot in.
Put the boot in!
Yeah, my put the boot in goes to owners, especially down the top of the South Island around the Wakefield Nelson area. We know there is a big devastation of a fire down, the evacuation at the moment, 2,500 people. You got the fire brigade, you got the army helping. You also got the personnel up in the sky flying around, dropping the monsoon buckets. You definitely don't need drones up there. So for people who own drones and when they're in an emergency or civil defence situation, please do not try and be the person to access some of the footage from a high on your drone. That just gets in the way. So to the person, especially down there in Wakefield around Nelson, where they're trying to deal with this out-of-control fire, you got their drone, mate. Don't be putting it up there. I reckon they need to get a gun and shoot the bloody thing down. But yeah, maybe for drone owners, just be mindful where you are in some of the areas where they're trying to deal with situations like this. You don't need your drone up there flying around and trying to get the best footage so you can share it to everyone on social media. So to some drone owners, not all of them, just to sum up, put the boot in theme.
Put the boot in!
Yeah, my put the boot in this week goes to a 58-year-old Timaru man, Stephen Heppelston, who has been charged with importing a prohibited item, and he has been caught with objectionable publications involving the sexual exploitation of children. Now, this tosser has been caught importing a child-like sex doll, and to me that is just an absolutely sick, revolting, disgusting, hangable offence. So he's been remanded on bail until May the 2nd for sentencing, when his risk to children will be assessed. Well, I've already done his risk to children, and mate, get rid of him. Turn his oxygen off. He doesn't deserve to live amongst us. Pedophiles, rock spiders, whatever you want to call them, they're the lowest of the low. That's my put the boot in.
Put the boot in! So can you remind us, JT, what's this guy's name again? Stephen
with a PH. Heppelston, Hepppleston, 58 from Timaru, or aka Timaru.
Wow. Wow. That's okay. Wow.
Absolutely. Right.
Yeah.
And they've let him out on bail, please.
He's out on bail. Are you kidding? Wow. Wow.
That's your court system at its best, Keithy.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Great justice system we got. Unbelievable. But yeah, I tell you what, Reno, there are just some idiots. You said that they should get a gun to shoot their drone down. They should get a gun to shoot the guy who's operating the blimmin' thing. Man, that's just an idiot, in my opinion, eh? Flying a drone around while they're trying to blimmin' put out these big fires. I mean, what is up with the fools? Fools that do that, man. We need to get them on full time.
Yeah, and that's the problem, mate. When we're dealing with drones now, they're into every bloody thing these days, and they captivate everything as well. And when you got the power of social media, and you're wanting to be the first person to exploit all that stuff, they go out there and do it. They don't really give a stuff or care. They just want to get out there and think they're cool to get their stuff out there. But what they're doing is actually getting in the way of people who are trying to do the right thing.
Yep.
And, they're stuffing it up. So, we heard the call from our Prime Minister during that whole episode, and that's it. I hate to see what it's going to be like in 5 years' time, mate. So, crazy stuff. And I totally agree with JT on this. Put the boot in. No place on this bloody planet for anyone like that.
Oh.
Rotten hell.
Oh, absolutely. And your mate Brian Tamaki, eh?
Oh, your Uncle Keithy, he's always the centre of attention. But it's just the one comment he made is it was like he was referring to himself again as the high and mighty sort of. But yeah, just I don't know. What makes people do that? Like that pervert guy, that JT. There's no place in society for people who feel like that. I reckon. I just think there's better things to sort of be looking at maybe, yeah.
Well, one of the things that I don't know who invited Brian Tamaki or Don Brash to Waitangi, but I'm glad that they were invited, and I'm also glad that they accepted in going. One of the things that has come out, especially about Don Brash, was that obviously the audience he was talking to weren't totally au fait with maybe what he was, saying or what he was talking about. So I'm glad that, it's not all positivity and stuff like that in a way. And I'm kind of glad that, those two people actually did eventually go up there. I think it's a good thing that, I know a lot of people don't agree with what those two people in particular have to say, but I'm glad that at least we still live in a country where they're allowed to say it, and on a forum where, people don't necessarily agree with them. I think that was great. Having said that, I just want to say a big thank you going out to our three amigos, the three amigos that were here with us today.